A traditional poem by the name of I Ride an Old Pig. Oh damn, I'm going to Montana to throw the hula hand. They feed in the coulees, they water in the draw. Their tails are all matted and their backs are all raw. Ride around, little doggies, ride around but I'm real slow. The fire and Snuffy are raring to go. Old Bill Jones had a daughter and a son. One went to college, and the other went wrong. His wife, she was killed in a poolroom fight. But still, he's singing from morning to night. When I die, take my saddle from the wall, place it on my pony, lead him out from his stall. Tie my bows to the saddle, turn off faces west, and ride out on the prairie. That we love best. I ride no paint, I lead no band. I'm going to Montana to throw the hula hand. They feed in the coulees, they water in the draw. Their tails all matted, and their backs are all raw.
The Cowboy by John Antrobus. What care I, what care he? What care the world of the life we know? Literally rest of the shallowest plains, the shelterless mesa, the sun and the rains, and the wild, free life as the wind that blows. With his broad sombrero, his water chaparros, and clinking spurs like a centaur speeds where the wild bull feeds. And he laughs, ha ha, who cares, who cares? Ruddy and brown, careless and free, a king in the south he rides at will, over the measureless range, where rarely change those swart gray plains, so weird and strange, treeless and streamless, and wonders still, with his slouched sombrero, his torn chaparros, and clinking spurs like a centaur speeds, where the wild bull feeds, and he laughs, ha ha, who cares, who cares? Swift and strong, yet ever alert, and sometimes he rests on the dreary vast, and his thoughts, like the thoughts of other men, go back to his childhood days again, and to many a loved one day in the past. With his gray sombrero, his torn chaparros, and clinking spurs like a centaur speeds where the wild bull feeds. And he rests a while, then he laughs, ha ha, who cares, who cares? Question about Ansel Mulvey. No Texan ever asked where you're from. In fact, if these such questions asked for, I don't check. Because if you're from Texas, you'll tell us. Anyway, if you're not, it really doesn't matter.
The Great White Mustang by S. Omar Barker. Wherever the rhythmic hoofbeats drum, galloping riders go and come, wherever the saddle is still the drum. Though dust of hooves by wind blown, wherever the horsemen, young or old, a passing Mustang's tail is told. 100 years on hill of plain, with hung tail and flying mane, milk white, free and high and over the range his trail has led. Never a break in his pacing speed, never a trot or lope his lead. Since faraway days of the wagon train, men have followed his trail. There, a dozen horses spurred to the death. Still he passes like a phantom. And from some hill on the horizon's hem, snorts his chariot back at them. A bullet drops him dead by day. But what a night! He speeds away, forever a thief of tameless steeds. Stallion prince, the Mustang breed, coveted prize by men who ride. Never a rope has touched his hide. Wherever the saddle, still the throw. Great White Mustang's tail is no.
Cowboy toast! may you never waste a loot, may your can stay full of syrup, and your gizzard full of
For the evening, you can take those cards home. All right, next we have Eamon Fayers here.
An amphibian's woe, written by the great Aiden. I was riding one day in the hot month of May, just going along the dirt road. I was riding along, singing my song, when there in my path was a toad. I stopped in surprise, for it had red eyes, and I reckoned 'twas hate in that look. I jumped up in fright, 'twas a horrible sight, for there in its mouth was a hook. I got down off my steed, knew there wasn't a need to give him a look to stop. I bent down to that toad sitting there on the road. Doggone it, he wanted to hop. So I swallowed my pride, saying, take a look inside, and out of his mouth pulled that metal. So I held the toad tight, didn't want him to fight, for that hook was as sharp as a nettle. I got back on my horse, ready to get back on course, ready to start the next mile. I turned back to see that toad staring at me. He was giving me a big froggy smile.
And I just want to say that was you're on deck. All right, we have Connor Sirota for you.
Coffee by S. Omar Barker. Now this is a recipe time tried and true. For Chuck Wagon coffee, a buckaroo's book brew. Use water and coffee in equal parts and set on a fire. That's how the deal starts. Boil it hot for 2 hours straight, then into it toss a well-rusted shoe from a club-footed horse. Stir into the pot a few minutes steady, and if the shoe ain't a-flowing, the coffee ain't ready.
Proudly they rode, those horseback men, whose likes we shall not see again. Those cowboys of a day long gone, who saddled broncs before the dawn, to ride the long day into night, clan cousins of the Ishmaelite. Their marching music was the bawl of longhorn cattle, and the call of high adventure stirred their blood to horseback pride and hardihood. Dusty they rode, the salt of sweat was more to them than the alphabet, and more the tromp of a horse's hoof than any fireside, field, or roof. Partners of the wind, their spurs are rust, their cattle trail long settled dust. But above their campfires' ashen embers, the steadfast northern star remembers that proudly they rode with ancient pride, and all bold men and true who ride.
Good Camp by Chris Isaac. I'd love to get off the road from the man-made lights and see the stars shining bright. And sit around a campfire, swap a ticket too. Just
Don't worry about it.
Go back if you need to.
I'd love to sit around a campfire, swap a ticket or two. And see the burning coals tightly high when the day trails through. To see bright Big Dipper and point to old friend North Star. Just to crawl in your bedroll and know that heaven's not so far. To wake up at the crack of dawn and thank God for morning's birth. And for the fact every now and then you still find heaven here on earth.
Charlie and the Bear by some person that I can't pronounce. Now Charlie was a big man, tall and round, a massive horse who loved him around. His smile only displayed one truth, and whatever he spoke was 1% the truth. He'd tell about the time when the old campfire froze right in its place. It was 200 below, and then a blizzard dumped a mile of snow. Now the story that I'm going to tell you, you'd think was a lie, but I swear that it's true. One day, when Charlie rode through the brush, suddenly came an enormous hush. So deafening, the silence came about. weeks. Now Charlie knew just what to do. He took a stick and broke it in two. Two halves to make a hole. So he figured into the hole he'd roll. Now Charlie was big and the hole was small, but that didn't bother the man at all. He huffed and he puffed and he blew so hard that the bear rolled over and his hair was charred. Charlie exhaled into his pencil thing, stepped over, and dove right in. He needn't have bothered. He had already won. The fighting days of that grease were done. Say Charlie was made of so much hot air. So much hot air, he barbecued that bear.
So this poem is called Horses Aren't That Old. March went in just like the summer. An Arctic flash of drinking snow. My horses shriek the morning, lots of wind, heads held to go. As I pull on my boots and overcoat, I hear that guy on the radio.
Come on. We gotta go back line. We have one extra card. That will have 9. Or we can start. Sometimes it's better to start again. Start again. Yep. Got it.
March came in just like December. An Arctic flash of drinking snow. My horses shriek the morning, lots of flame, heads held low. As I pull on my boots and overcoat, I hear that guy on the radio. Talking about a war return. Be here any day, you know. Ashamed, I walk past my ponies in silence, bite my lips as I throw out their head. 2 months of empty promises. They wouldn't believe me anyway. They used to hang on every whisper. Now they pin their ears and snort. They got no use for a cowboy dumb enough to believe a weather report.
Yeah.
A Whopper of a Snake by Brett Rose. Well, I climbed up the slope with my thick braided rope to where all the cattle were eating. But when I reached the herd, you can't take my word, I had a very strange meeting. My heartbeat quickened, I must have been sickened. The snake as wide as a pillar. The color of copper, that guy was a whopper. I reckon he was a born killer. Well, my instinct turned as my senses had turned, though my mind was full of it stiff. To get out of there, I just jumped in the air, right off the edge of that cliff. Well, I fell on a stone and I broke my shin bone. The doctor, he put me to bed. He told me to sleep, but my word he didn't keep. I worked on the lasso instead. Well, I'm sorry to say that it turned out this way about that there snake as I ran. Well, I made a mistake, because it wasn't a snake. Instead, it was just a dead brain. Well, if you meet a snake, you can jump in the lake, but keep this note in your book. Or if you jump away, you should probably say, I think I'll take a second look.
Grand Canyon Cowboy by S. Omar Parker. I heard of the canyon, the old cowboy said, and I reckon I'd like to go see it. So I rode till I sighted a rim out ahead, and reckoned that this place might be it. I anchored my horse to a juniper limb and crawled to the edge for peace. One look was plenty to make my head spin, and all my innards felt weak. If I'd known how darn deep it was gonna be, I'd managed by some hook or crook to tie my own self to the doggone tree and let my horse go take a look.
May your walls be as wide as the western sky, and your blessings stacked high as mine. May your lives be as long as the Rio Grande, and your friends be too many times.
There you go. Yes, Emmy.
Medjool, by a person I can't really remember right now. Old Panhandle Johnny was quick on the draw, and a wonderful shot was old Billy McGraw. Old Billy McGraw expressed the belief that old Panhandle Johnny was in his beef.
man, if you heard about that, started to look for where Billy was at. All types of wages were going right down soon when the boys laid down their bets in the Lone Star's movement. And no when they finished, there only one. But some fellows bet that there won't be none. The only reason it gave them to bet was the lay of the land where the two fellows met. If it was at close quarters, or was not, or Panhandle Johnny would finish the fight. But take it at 35 paces, or Billy could shoot the spots out of your aces. They were 10 steps apart where the two fellows met. The sun had gone down, but it wasn't dark yet. Johnny fired 4 shots before Billy could draw. 3 of them went wild, 1 hit McGraw. Billy fired once and knocked Johnny dead. Then he demised Plum, the bystander, said, "Well, all the fellas won who had bet on a draw between Panhandle Johnny and Billy McGraw."
All right, we have Tim Middlesworth next. Let's get all right, Tim, say your poem.
How many cows by Niall Henderson? A fellow from town stopped by the other day. The talk that we had sort of went this way. He said, "I got something that I'd like to ask you, and if you know the answer, I'd like to know too." He said, "I'd like to be a rancher and at prices a day. How many cows would I need to make my living pay? Would 1,000 cows be better than just 1 or 2? Do you have any advice on what I should do?" Now that's a tough question, I'll tell you for sure. Not one that can be solved with anyone here. Machinery is sky high and so is the land, and interest rates are more than anyone can stand. There's the cost of fuel and fences and labor and seed, and tools and tires and water and feed. The whole cost of operating hasn't yet reached the peak, and the price of beef is just pretty darn weak. So here's the answer to this little test. The one with the fewest is doing the best. Though he's not making more, like you might guess. The fact is, my friend, he's just losing less.
When Bob got throwed by Anonymous. That time when Bob got throwed, I thought I sure would bust. I like to die to laughing to see him chewing dust. He crawled on that Amy Brock and hit him with a quirt. The next thing he knew, he was wallowing in the dirt. Yeah, it might have killed him. I heard the old ground pop. But to see if he was injured, you bet I didn't stop. I just rolled on the ground and began to kick and yell. It like to tickle me to death to see how hard he fell. 'Tweren't more than a week ago that I myself got throwed, but 'twas from a meaner horse than old Bob ever rode. You reckon Bob looked sad and said, "I hope that you ain't hurt"? Nah, he just laughed and laughed and laughed to see me chewing dirt. I've been praying ever since for his horse to turn his pack, and if he'd done it, I'd have laughed if it had broke his back. So I was still a-howling when Bob he got a blame. He seen his horse and run clean off, and so for me he came. He first chucked sand into my eyes. With a rock he rubbed my head. He twisted both my arms. "Now go fetch that horse," he said. So I went and fetched him back. But I was feeling good all day, for I sure enough do love to see a feller get thrown that way.
A dissertation on plants rise. I planted a garden last April, and loving was sang in a ballad. But later in June, beneath the full moon, forgive me, I wanted a salad. So I slipped out and fondled a carrot, caressing its feathery top. Then with the force of a brute, I tore at the root, as a whimper came with a pop. Celery I plucked, I twisted a squash, tomatoes were wincing in fear. I choked the romaine as it screamed out in pain, their anguish was filling my ears. I just violated tomatoes. so their innards could never survive. I grated them ground till they made out a sound, and boiled the tater alive. Then I took the small broken pieces I had tortured and killed with my hands, and I threw them together, needless of whether they suffered or made their demands. I ate them. Forgive me, I'm sorry. But though I'm a beginner, those plants feel pain it's hard to explain to someone who eats them for dinner.
Oh my God.
Savor the puns. Savor that. Ladies and gents, boys and girls, I give you Pecos Bill. Now, Pecos Bill was quite a cowboy down in Texas. He was the Western Superman, to say the least. He was the roughest, toughest critter, never known to be a quitter, because he never had no fear of man or beast. Now, while a band of rustlers, they stole a herd of cattle. But they didn't know the herd they stole was Bill. So when he caught those crooked villains, Pecos knocked out all their fillings, and that's why there's gold in their hills. Now, a tribe of painted Indians did a warning. Now, Pecos started shooting up their little gang. He gave those redskins such shake-up that they jumped out of their makeup, and that's how the Painted Desert got its name. Now, reclining on a cloud high over Texas, with his gun he made the stars evaporate. And when he saw those stars reclining, Pecos left one brightly shining. And that's the emblem of the Lone Star Texas State.
Hey.
And Mr. Mitchell fell into the pond by Alfred Noyes and Mr. Mitchell fell in the pond. Everyone grumbled. The sky was gray. We had nothing to do. We had nothing to say. We were nearing the end of a dismal day. We see nothing to be beyond. Then Mr. Mitchell fell into the pond. Everyone's face grew merry and bright. Mr. De Niro danced for sheer delight. Even the camera, quick, he's climbing out of the duckweed. Click! Mr. Searby suddenly slapped his knee and doubled up, shaking silently. And all the ducks quacked as if they are daft, and it sounded as if all Riverside laughed. Well, there wasn't an apprentice that didn't respond when Mr. Mitchell fell in the pond.
Well, come on, you cowboys, I'll sing you a song. Stay back from the wagon, stay where you belong. You think you're handy with a gun and with a rope, but I notice you're bashful when handling the soap. When rolling the bowl for your round 6 3, I'm rolling the dough for the biscuits you eat. When you're cutting stock, then I'm cutting steak. When you're wrangling the horses, and I'm wrangling cake. When you're hazing doggies and batting your eyes, I'm a hazing dried apples that aim to the beef thighs.
A Hellbound Train by Anonymous. A Texas cowboy lay down on a barroom floor, having drunk so much, well, he could drink no more. So he fell asleep with a troubled brain to dream that he rode on a hellbound train. The engine with the murderous blood was damp, and was brilliantly lit with a brimstone lamp, and in full fuel with shoveling bones as the furnace rained with 1,000 groans. The boiler was filled with lager beer, and the devil himself was the engineer. The passengers were most smartly true, church member, atheist, Gentile, and Jew. Rich men in broadcloth, beggars in rags, handsome old ladies in grizzled old hags. Yellow and black men, red, brown, and white, all chained together on board what a sight. And as the train rushed on at an awful pace, the sulphurous fumes scorched their hands and face. And as wider and wider the country grew, as faster and faster the engine flew. And as louder and louder the thunder crashed, as brighter and brighter the lightning flashed. And as hotter and hotter the air became, till all the clothes were burned from each quivering flame. Then out of the distance there rose a yell. Ah, said the devil, we're near here! Then oh, how the passengers all screamed with pain. He begged the devil to stop the train. but he capered about it. Danced for glee, and laughed and joked at their misery. My faithful friends, but you have done the work, and the devil can never pay they serve. You've bullied the weak, you've robbed the poor, starving brother, you've turned from the door. You've laid up gold where a cake of rust, and given free vent your beastly lust. You've justice scorned and corruption sown, and trampled the laws of nature down. You've drunk, rioted, cheated, plundered, and lied, and mocked at God in your pilgrim pride. You pay full fare, so I'll carry you through, for it's only right that I should have you, that you should have your due. While the neighbor always expects his eye, so I'll land you safe in the lake of fire. Where your flesh will waste and the flames that roar, my imps will torment you forevermore. Then the cowboy woke with an anguished cry, his clothes but with sweat, and his hair standing high. That he prayed as he never prayed till that hour, to be saved from his sins and the demon's power. And his prayers and vows were not in vain, for he never rode that hellbound train.
Famous. Almost. By Cole Sweet. We had spent the weekend down in Elko State. Cowboy poets. Oh, what a sight. There came call from his night show, and he invited me for Friday night. My eyebrows twitched with excitement as I put the receiver down, and the word has been like brush fire to the 1,000 people in town. Each of my friends had a friend who had a friend, so on. Our town was a friendly place. Oh, when the word went round, it made leaps and bounds to what seemed like half the human race. The show had made all the arrangements. I flew with Delta to LA, where a limousine waited at the airport, taking me to a fancy place to stay. They had my name printed on the dressing room for just one night. They finally got to where they could spell it, but never did pronounce it right. Ron, who was also my friend, came in at the last minute. He said his horse had come up late. We spruced up some and put our hats on. We were on our way to fame. I got close enough to speed and see the spotlight, but never did see one cowboy rhyme. I got the VIP treatment, but I just flat out ran out of time. So, I've come to a conclusion. It's like a boyhood I was new. I got far too much attention. Something I didn't even do.
Campfire has gone out by Anonymous. The promise of the railroad occupation is gone to put ideas into words and words into a song. First comes the cowboy, he is pointed to the west. And of all the pioneers, I claim the cowboys are the best. You will miss him on the run, but he's gone as merry shout. The cowboy has left the country, the campfire has gone out. There's a freight as our companions who have got to leave this land. Can drag loads for nothing through the gumbo and the sand. The railroad's bound to beat you when you do your level less. So give it up to the grandeurs and strike out for the west. Bid them all adieu and give the merry shout. The cowboys of the country, the campfire has gone out.
Thank you.
Meet the boys around the fire and find out who's the big slayer. They all had windy fur to spill, and one might be tickled, made to kill. But every feller would tell his lie, and never grin nor bat an eye. You may remember the white winter day. You rode through the snow a long, long way. You meet a few boys that you known across the town, to the store across the town. You never had long enough to stay. It wasn't long, a winter day. You like to travel to report once more. Travel to the general store.
I first saw some microphone. A gallon learns just keeping me when you live close to the lake. You learn to cherish the seasons, but things you understand. After a cold and dismal spring, I guess summer goes away. While riding up the mountain trail, I pushed the horse off yesterday.
My dad's required.
I'll dig me a well with a spur. And snakes may famish and fry, but I cross that too. Murder my sleep with rebels, make me ride through the walls, leading you with the devil, just to have the dog. I herald the bad name's level, I teach the tiger to purr, and saints may wallow in the night, but I go clean-hearted.
A Cowboy Kiss Can't Miss, a love poem by Omar West, abbreviated by Elijah Dominguez. My gal and I personify togetherness in life. We care, we jest, we share the best, and share a touch of strife. It's never wise to compromise the truths we've come to know. When we learn this, we'd better kiss and let the quarrel go. To realize those flashing eyes are planted an attack. My plan is this: I'll try a kiss and hope she'll kiss me back. We've thought it through, we know it's true. Our differences are there. Should we debate or osculate when angry tempers flare? It seems to me, undoubtedly, we're kissing all the time. It helps prevent an argument. So what? Is that a crime?
Don't be shy. 31, come join the fun. Well, I'm a black cat here in camp. As black could be. A bright-eyed ruckus champ, as ever you did see. I carried him 15 miles or more upon my horse's back, all the way from Redwood Ranch into our newfound camp. Before I brought him into camp, the mice were Irish before my head. As I lay and dreamed of home, I heard a feast beneath my bed. But now I brought him into camp. My sleeps are undisturbed. For now I fear no longer the nighttime or spring. Give your attention to JoJo Jansen!
Mother's Home Gator by JoJo Jansen. I was out on my horse when I rode up my horse, and my innards were feeling their bursting. So I rode to a creek, and I stopped for a drink, but a gator was keeping me thirsty. So my throat was quite dry, the gator looked sly, so I put up the water till later. I went back to my farm, but inside the barn was that big and bothersome gator. An idea came to me, what pet he could be, after I'd thought for a while. And when the time came, Jim was the name that I gave to this damp reptile. Now to this very day, I can very well say that I would be toast without him. For when strangers are near, they are stricken with fear to see my pet gator Jim. So if your life is hard and you need a bodyguard, but if you can't make up your mind, you should get a reptile, not a crocodile, but a gator, so protected and kind.
Not only did he memorize it, he wrote it.
What?
You know, one of the things that's really amazing, it's been a great pleasure to see guys as a tutor, is the ability that many of you guys have to write poems that are just as good or better than anything that we're finding. So let's hear it. Let's hear it from the guys who wrote their poems.
A Cowboy Brag by Anonymous. I was born full grown, with 9 rows of jaw teeth and holes bored for more. I had spurs on my feet and a rawhide quart in my hand. And Wednesday opens the chute, I come out riding a panther and roping the long-hauled whale. I rode everything with hair on it, and some things that were too tough to grow any hair. I rode bull moose on the prod and some she-grizzlies and long boats of lightning. Mountain lions on my playmates, and when I feels cold and lonesome, I sleeps in a den of rattlesnakes, 'cause they always makes me nice and warm. To keep alive, I eat stick dynamite with cactus. The Grand Canyon ain't nothing but my beanhole. When When I get thirsty, I drink cyanide cut with alkali. When I goes to sleep, I peel my hat on the bighorn, lay my boots in Colorado and my hat in Montana. I stretch my arms clean out from the crazy woman folk, plumb over the Upper Great Bull River. My bed tarp covers half of Texas and all of old Mexico. And if there's one thing for sure and certain, and if you boys want to know, I ain't nothing but a youngin'.
What's a Bronco by S. Omar Barker? They asked me, what's a Bronco? And since they seemed to crave to know, I kind of trotted over, then I fed it to them slow. A bronc, I said judicious, is what you mean, no doubt. It's an equine set of cyclones with the hairy side turned out. His soul is filled with cockleburrs, and when this inward itch bursts forth in outward action, he is said to buck or pitch. Which means he comes unraveled, paws the moon to make it spin, and agitates his muscles like he aims to quit his skin. His color may be anything, from black to fleet roan. Sorrel, bay, or chestnut, he's still the devil's own. Till he's been unspizzled by some hairpin on his back, with two prongs hung across him and their juncture in the cap. A pinwheel or a rarback, or a circling pioneer. The Bronc's a welcome widowmaker when he throws himself in gear. Though he's the toughest red meat you'll ever come across. If you're man enough to ride him, then you've got yourself a hoss.
General Store by the Unknown. Would you like to sell your horse once more and take a ride to General Store? To meet the boys around the fire and find out who's the biggest lion. They all had windy fears to spill their might to take a fit to kill. But every fellow would tell his lie with a grin or bad eye. You bet you remember the winter days when he rode through the snow for a long, long ways to meet a few of the boys he knowed in the store that stood by the old crossroad. You never had long enough to stay for it didn't last long, a winter day. Yes, you would like to sell your horse once more and take a ride to General Store.
It was just about noon when I left the saloon with an extra bottle of whiskey. I was packing for a ride. When in comes my bride, screaming, "Don't do it! That'll make you frisky." "Don't scream at me," I said. "I got a long trip ahead. Besides, who knows when I'll need it?" "That's a darn poor excuse. Holy smokes, you're obtuse. Hand it over, you stubborn nitwit." "Whatever you say goes." I was staring at my toes. When I bowed my head in submission, I sulked out the door and moved stranded on the floor and contemplated that final decision. It was all a big blur when I finally touched her and I got away from the house. I ain't no nitwit. I scarce could believe it. My chaps had passed on to the spouse. Now back to my place, I'll say to her face, "It ain't your choice as to when I get frisky." But when I burst in, the hair rose from my skin, because I found her down in my whiskey.
This matters when you saddle up a scared half-broke colt. It's too soon yet to trust him, but he has to keep a hope. You don't know what to use a blanket for to save the horse's backs. In fact, right now it doesn't know a blanket from an axe. It takes a sure enough horseman and a level-headed man to keep a colt working and to make him understand. It makes a heap of difference in the way a horse is broke. Maybe a first-class cow or a good-for-nothing joke. If he learns you got to use him, and he generally will find it's a bad thing to abuse him, but you gotta make him mind. Some people never seem to know the time and work it costs to make a high-strung colt into a smart and gentle horse. There's some folks that can never get a horse to understand, and there's some cases when I think the horse is smarter than the man.
Out Where the West Begins by Arthur Chapman. Out where the hand shakes a little stronger, out where the smile lasts a little longer, that's where the West begins. Out where the sun shines a little brighter, out where the snow falls a trifle whiter, where the bonds of home are a little tighter, that's where the West begins. Out where the skies are a trifle bluer, out where friendship's a little truer, that's where the West begins. Out where a fresher breeze is blowing and a laughing stream is flowing, And there's more reaping and less of sowing. That's where the West begins. Where a new world is in the making. And there's less hearts that are aching. That's where the West begins. Where there's more of singing and less of sighing. Where there's more of giving and less of buying. And the man can easily make a friend without even trying. That's where the West begins.
The Cross-Eyed Bull by Ronnie Mitchell. Hey, did I ever tell you folks about that cross-eyed bull I bought? Well, you couldn't put him in a show. At least that's what I thought. But a friend came out and said, hold on, Bart, let me have a look. Well, the eyes aren't that bad. Call the vet. His number's in the book. Well, I didn't have much time, so I rang up the vet next day. I said, vet, I got a cross-eyed bull. Could you come out right away? Well, up he came. He looked. He thought. He took it to a glass and shoved it in that little hole under the tail. Then the vet begins to blow. He blows and puffs and sucks. The eyes rotate and straighten out. The vet says, $50. 50 flaming bucks, I think. Now there's a tidy sum for half a minute's work blowing up an old bull's last tube. But still no, I paid the vet. He straightened out the eyes. I take the bull to the Elko show, we win the major prize. So I took him on the state some. We're doing well. And then I have to take him home. The eyes go crossed again. But this time, no vet. Hey, I know the drill. I'll save myself the dough. I get a glass tube, I shove it in, then I begin to blow. I blow and pop and blow, but still the eyes stay crossed. So I'm forced to ring the vet, and more than know I've lost. Well, out he comes, with a very knowing smile on his face. He knew I'd try to fix the bull. I left the tube in place. He took it out, reversed it, then gave one mighty pop. I watched the bull, the eyes rotating straight and sure enough. So I take the vet, and then I say, one thing before you go, don't tell me the secrets and knowing which end to blow. He said, oh no, Lonnie, it ain't knowing which end. You can blow for north or south. But gee, you didn't think I'd use the end you had in your mouth. The end. Horses versus Hosses by S. Omar Barker. I heard an old-time cowboy swapping up some drawl and talk about them nags men used to ride who didn't like to walk. He spoke of them as hosses, so I often asked him why he didn't call them horses. And here's what he told me, be it right or be it wrong, some salty information that I'd like to pass along. You go out to the racetrack or some modern riding school, and what you'll find on riding their horses as a rule. You'll see them wrapped in blankets when they raise a little sweat, and bedded in warm stables so they won't get cold or wet. Their saddle is a potion stand for calm and encourage sweat. Their riders bobble up and down like monkeys on a stick. Them pretty tricks are horses, son, but that there ain't the word. We used to call them shaggies who rode behind the herd. They maybe weighed 900 pounds, all guts and dynamite. They took you where you had to go and always brought you back, without no fancy rations that you purchased in a sack. They moped all day on nothing but your 2 hands full of grass. On a Stetson full of water, they could climb a mountain pass. They swung you through the rivers and they plowed you through the sand. Swung you through the rivers and they plowed you through the sand. You and your heavy saddle, and they learned to understand which end of a cow the tail was on. So all you had to do was set up in the saddle while they did the cavalry too. Sometimes they sort of dodged the rope, sometimes they bucked you high, but they were sure the apple of the old-time cowhand's eye. These here hand-fed critters may be horses, sure enough. Them old cow-range horses, they was born to take it rough. So that's the way they took it till they earned a tougher name. And these here hand-fed horses also delicate and tame. So you can have your horses with their high form and gloss. I'll take 4-legged rawhide, or in other words, a hoss.
Tonight I will recite for you The Outlaw by C.E.D. It was late autumn in the West, and the mayor's election was coming around. We had some good runner-ups. You should have met the man who won the town. He was all about how he was gonna stop the bandits, maybe plant some new trees. He had everyone in on his sweet talk. That is, everyone except for me. Now I knew an actor when I saw one, and this man was a liar through and through. He told us he was strong, but he was soft. This, the outlaw knew. Now the outlaw was a smart man, but his morals were disfigured. He was a manhunter, and to make a show of things, he liked to kill a public figure. But he wasn't a complete murderer. He lived by a certain set of rules that whomever constructed themselves on lies would die by the same tools. He made his first appearance at the mayor's inauguration. He came all dressed in black, and everyone heard his proclamation. He said, "Your mayor's a fraud. He knows this well. I am the outlaw, and your town is heading for hell." The people were scared out of their boots. They didn't feel safe. They didn't know what to do. That's right, the mayor. He said he'd get rid of the bandits. He could get rid of this one too. And then the mayor was flooded with complaints about he should just go up and shoot this bandit between the eyes. But then he came across one letter that might just save him from all his lies. He picked it up, and he read, "Dear Mayor, I was wrong to oppose you. You clearly are the best. I am the outlaw. Tonight, at the center of town, we talk my arrest." The mayor was overwhelmed with joy. His lies had fooled that silly man in the trench coat. When he reached town that night, no one was there. All he found was a little note. Picked it up, and he read, "Your lies brought you nothing. Only the gates of hell they fed. I am the outlaw, and you should have stayed in bed." Reincarnation by some guy who felt like writing poems. What does reincarnation mean? The cowboy asked his friend. It's power applied and happens when your life has reached its end. Comb your hair and wash your neck and clean your fingernails. Lay you in a padded box away from life's travails. The box in you goes in a hole that's dug beneath the ground. Reincarnation starts in wind. You're planted beneath the mound. Then clouds melt down just like your box, you who is inside. Then you're just beginning on your transformation ride. And in a while, some grass will grow upon your rendered mound, till someday on your lonely grave, on your boulder grave, a lonely flower is found. And say a horse should wander by and graze upon this flower, that once was you, but now's decaying your vegetative bower. The posy that the horse done ate, along with other feed, makes bone and fat and muscle essential to the steed. Some is left that he can't use, and then it passes through. There it's left upon the ground, that thing that once was you. Now say by chance I wanders by and sees this upon the ground, and I ponders and I wonders at this object that I found. I think of reincarnation, life and death and such. Come away concluded, Connor, you ain't changed all that much.
Saddle. I'm saddling hard-boiled benches and spring-fed mill chairs on silken.
You got it. Come on, EJ. Come on.
I can do it.
Flower mats from fallen from far Japan. I pug my cactus in cars of millionaires. A silver tune office and a mist chair lost at sea. Why? Why I always had saddles, a strangle on of a saddle. I laid on my bed. And saddle leather always makes me feel at home. But there's one thing I know is that heaven's down below.
Whenever you're ready.
A toast to good water and to rest in the shade, and to total success, which proclaims the The Glow by Bill Simpson. While looked in the fire, the polar man desired to stare a hard gaze at the campfire blaze. From the bright amber coals to where the blue flame rolls, the glow is sure there, and it was by your stare. Men sit for hours while the red flame prowls, without a thought in their head like their mind's gone dead. No one, no care, it'll just hold you there, in a blank state of mind with nothing to find. Oh, the popping and cracking goes on unobserved. It's the flames that hold you so reserved. They're leaping and reaching and trying to find a way to penetrate man's simple mind.
Don't claim I'm no star of brush-bucking games. No. Such world is naturally wrong. A feller just say he'll do boys for taking along. Big words never fill up cowpuncher's heart, or the price of the
Got it. Words never fill cowpuncher's heart.
word never fills cowpuncher's heart. The price of heart, good word. It's like a
Got it. Come on.
Go on, David.
You do it.
A man does his part. He'll do, boys, they say in the West.
Hey! Hey!
Don't take off their hat. They naturally wear it wherever they're at. There ain't any reason for them to take it off for. Somewhere to bed if they're sleeping outdoors. Now, this here old feller was washing his hat. It's likely the cabin ain't chilly inside. He got him some soap and he started to rub, kicked on his hat when he got in the tub. Now, his head cold and he hasn't been drinking. Just put on his hat without ever thinking. Maybe he ain't used to a bathtub at that, but he sure become accustomed to wearing his hat. But there ain't any reason to worry that. When he washes his head, he can run on to his hat, and when he really does find it, I really don't know. Will he take off the hat or just land his head up?
I was riding the plains on an old Texas ranch when I heard a blood-chilling howl. I was off in a rush when I saw him at brush. Evil mountain lion scowl. So I wrestled the beast and I tore piece by piece. But I'm telling you, I didn't do well. He gnawed at my head, so I bit off his leg, and he pounced at me and I fell. There was blood everywhere and it got in my hair, so I swore I would show him his doom. Well, I knocked him out good and I did what I should. I buried him under the moon.
Hey!
The Chuck Wagon! I don't know the name. Cow Puncher's Cafe. It is that way. And we smash it, curse them, about 3 times a day. When the cook yells, come in, get it. You don't have to please. How you put your loggies? Come gather your feed.
The funeral. A local old-timer quietly passed on to his eternal reward upon high. So the day of this service, a bunch of us gathered to give him a final goodbye. As we entered the church, we doffed our hats, signed the book on the stand by the door. Colonel Moss stayed on over to see Bud one last time, as he lay in his funeral repose. We all gathered once and twice again, 'cause something was plenty amiss. We stood scratching our heads when finally Ed said, does anyone know who this is? A round of not-me's fluttered out past the lips of the crew that was gathered nearby. Without no exceptions, the prevailing perception was that none of us knew this here guy. Then Chuck up and says, I don't think Bud even owned a suit and a tie. For as long as I knew him, he always wore bibs, blue, of a generous size. And need I point out, this fella is bald, just a few scraggy hairs on his thigh. That's right, Howdy Pipes. Take a closer look. This fella don't even chew snooze. Look at the pie on the front of his shirt. Not even one speckle of juice. Oh, we all nodded, thinking son of a gun. But we hung in there for coffee and pie. But out on the prairie at the old cemetery, we all knew they buried the wrong guy.
May steps my close to
Missed
your
my coins
favorite
at
booth.
Portillo's.
I don't know. May steps my close to your favorite booth. May shadow be where you sit. May you always remember your western roots, full of trying not to quit.
It was right about land when the preacher told him to repent and almost killed him with fear. Each and every person he said no more cursing and certainly no drinking beer. Under the light of stars, they threw him behind bars and locked him up in those cages. Things were looking real bad. Preacher was mighty sad. Thought it was too dark for ages. His jailers fell asleep, a slumber very deep. The preacher decided to rest, but a vision occurred, not a sound was heard. Shine bright angel blast. Now, the preacher never seen a cowboy angel so keen. His hat alone gave off a golden light. Now, took the preacher's hand and pulled him up to stand right through the wall into the night. Drowsy cowboys awoke, the preacher done broke, right clear of their little jail. Each man shook his head and remembered what he had said, and remembered his words without fail.
Making it Cowboy Again for a Day by Don Edwards. Backward, turn backward, old time with your wheels. Bicycles, wagons, automobiles. Dress me again in a big Stetson hat. Spurs, flannel shirt, slickers, chaps. Put a 6-shooter, 2 in my hands. Show me a yearling, rope and the brand. Out where the sagebrush is dusty and gray. Make me a cowboy again for a day. Show me a Bronco. Show me a Bronco that knows how to dance. Blue rolling in color, wicked glance. New to the feeling of bridle and bit. Give me a quirt that'll sting when it hits. Wrap a blanket behind in a roll. Toss me a lariat dear to my soul. Over the trail, let me gallop away. Take me a cowboy again for a day. Thunder of hoofs on the range as you ride, hissing of iron and sizzling of hide. Midnight stampedes, milling herds, yells of the cowboy too angry for words. Right in the midst of it all, let me say, pick me a cowboy again for a day. And under the star-studded sky so vast, campfire, coffee, comfort at last. Bacon that sizzles and crisps in a pan after the roundup smells good to a man. Stories of the outlaws and cowboys retold over pipes as the embers grow cold. Man, these are all the tunes that old memories play. Make me a cowboy again for a day. When your boots are full of water and the hat rains all of it, and the rain makes little rivers dribbling down a horse's head. And every step a pony takes, they put near bogs them down. They get you thinking of them boys that work in town. Maybe they're selling ribbon, or maybe they're slinging hash. But they got a roof above them when the thunder starts to crash. They do their little doings, be their wages low or high. But let it rain till hell's upon. They're always warm and dry. Their beds are stuffed with feathers, or at worst with plenty straw, while your old soggy students may go floating down the draw. They've got their women folk to cook them up the truck they most admire, while you gnaw cold, hard biscuits, because a cook can't make a fire. When you're riding out on the cattle range and you hit a rainy spell, your whiskers get plumb mossy, and you note the mildew smell, and everything from leather to the makings in your sack. And you get the chilly quivers from water down your back. You can't pull off your boots if you hitched it to a mule. You think about them ribbon clerks and call yourself a fool, forever punching cattle with horse between your knees, instead of selling ribbon and taking over ease. You sure do get pining about them jobs in town, where the slickers ain't a-dripping when the rain comes sluicing down. It's misery in your desert, and you're sure doing to quit, and take any job you figure you can get. But when your neck is all about to quit, without a doubt, the rain just beats you to it, and the sun comes busting out. And your wet clothes start steaming, and most everywhere you pass, you notice how that beak of rain has livened up the grass. Well, that's how it is with the cowboy when a rainy spell is hit. They hang on till it's over, and there ain't no need to quit.
Alright, Jack, what'd you say?
Staunch in conviction, hard-twisted in nature, surveying the world with birds in the cold. The pistol from behind for millennia watches, as new checkers open on storage tools. Watch his children with school and tradition, then watch generations each march off to war, and watch as the soldiers return broken-hearted, just hung into sleep with the head of a war. But the wars never offer for memory in our dreams, and innocence lost in importance, it seems. A folk being soaked through and swept through the screams. It makes your heart pound and so drop from the pump of the sound as you're stuck on some old battleground. The bristle whispers the wind in the valley, the wisdom of age that lives in the shelf. How humans are more like by nature and oddly, the only real effects of their kindness themselves. They war for thought, they war for religion, they war for past the size of the throne. How many more young will they send up to battle before they're helping the heart to get home? Because the war is never over for memory nor dreams, and life ain't as precious as claimed, so it seems. How folk being soaked through and swept through and screams. Is it pain more than words can conceive? Though they still try to hold on and believe. They woke feeling forgotten to see, and dying of PTSD. The bristle whispers the wind in the valley. There was no days, no days in the shelter.
Staunch in conviction, hot twist in the nation, ran the world from his birth to the cold, Christopher Pine suppliantly watches a new generation of professional.
Purple light in the moonlight, that's where I long to be with my three good companions. Just my rifle, pony, and me. Gonna hang my cigarettes on the limb of a tree. Coming home, sweetheart. Just my rifle, pony, and me. Just my rifle, my pony, and me. With the wind in the winds of sweet galaxy, riding through Amarillo. Just my rifle, pony, and me. No more dollars to be broken. No more strays. Will I see? Come from the west. Surely, for my rifle, pony, and me. For my rifle, my pony, and me.
May your mustache grace your upper lip, by the unknown. May your mustache grace your upper lip, may it hang with a majestic curl. But feel free to discount this advice, if you happen to be a girl.
The Old Barn by Colin Stephen Jr. This old barn was pined away to tell the tales of yesterday. How in a while the horses rough and rather bleed and say nothing. Few generations now cry gray, first time starting had their day. When men were men, the days were long, down on boys, the boys were wrong. So warmly was it arranged outside, yet cool in summer after a ride. So far from house, not moving up, yet close enough to be the now sounds of horses eating hay make echoes of a bygone day. Boys tune themselves to the city raptor, and the silent barn goes to the raptor. Cowboy poetry. The roundups, the brandings, and the Calvins are done. As ranchers sell out and move on one by one. We must tell the stories till memories live on. As the time when the tellers themselves are long gone.
May you never lose the store. May you never waste a new. May your hands stay full of store. And your gizzard full of loot.
Pete's here. There's a new grave up on Boot Hill where we planted Rowdy Pete. He died one evening sudden with the leather on his feet. He was Cactus Center's terror with that work of art the cold. But somehow without warning, Calvin missed his hold. His favorite trick in shooting was to grab his victim's right, then draw his own revolver, and the rest was just good night. He worked it in succession on 9 stout and well-armed men, but a sickly-looking stranger made Pete's feet slip up to 10. He had followed out his program, past the fighting word. He grabbed the victim's right hand when a funny thing occurred. The stranger was left-handed, which Pete hadn't figured out. And before he fixed his error, Pete was dead beyond all doubt. It's just another instance of the flaw of work of man. The lefty never figured in the gunman's battle plan. There ain't no scheme man thinks of that nature cannot be. So his pupils are on learning that cute trick they got from people.
I know that would take you high ridge. Would you go? If you could hear the winds rush and breathe the piney air, could you close your eyes and travel with me there? If my humble pen could lay the words across the barren page, would you go with me there and ride the desert sands and sage? Would you lope across the prairie? Would you ride the river's break? Would you go if I, the poet, wrote until my fingers ache? Would you go if I, the poet, wrote and knew the words that ever brought a word of knowing? Or a smile at a memory? Or shameless tears of flowing? Or the merriment of leather squeaks and bridal chains? My search for finding words to share would not be done in vain. Oh, if lasting into eternity, or fleeting like a shooting star, I, the poet, give to you my words, ordinary as they are.
October on the sheep range by Arthur Chapman. There ain't no leaves to turn to gold, there ain't a tree in sight. In other words, the herd is told October has come all right. Just like 10,000 souls, all lost. The wind howls, ain't it nice? The water hole is frozen across with creaky, crackly ice. The sheep bent down before the sun has hit them on the hills. The prairie wolves run and run to make the nightly kills. With Sion saying solitaire, the bacon's flattened crime. The old sheep wagons free from care and late October time.
I don't remember. We're a mighty happy crew in everything they say and do. The wildest push I ever knew, the Bunkhouse Boys. Who know their manners may be rough, true as steel, the pure gold stuff.
Got it. Jump on. You got it.
Little manners may be rough, but true as steel, the pure gold stuff. Might be quick to call the bluffs the Bunkhouse Boys. Who went in town to have their fun, foaming broncos on the run, smoke is spitting from each gun, the Bunkhouse Boys.
Come on. Jump to what you know, Jump Paul. Get to what you know. You got it.
The main place to learn ran when decent folks are in bed. The bunch of all raising that the Bunkhouse Boys.
Hey!
A cowboy Frank, me. While herding my cattle, felt a shake in my saddle. That made me jump high off my horse. Thought a mad rattlesnake gave her tail a shake. When on her I sat with great force. Almost hitting the ground, head first I was bound. When I saw what I was heading for, I reckoned I was dead when I seen spikes ahead on the plant that I really abhor. I must have passed out after yesterday's bout. When I woke, I was in a campsite. The men were all laughing, a-hooting and gaffing. So I asked what gave them such delight. Said it was cruel to be tickled while I was so prickled by that darn old cactus paddle. But they'd rather be frank. It was all just a prank. They had stuck a maraca on my saddle.